Okay, so we're going to take our yarn, and what you want to do is you want to work out what the size is around your ankle area, and you want to work to units of 3. So for this particular size, sort of average size, I work to 45, which is 15 divided by 3, so work to units of 3. So I'm going to chain for this particular sock 45, which gave a good size around my ankle. So the first thing I'm going to do is a little slip knot. And then we're just going to begin by chaining 2. So just chain 2. Now to do a half double crochet foundation stitch, or in UK terminology a half treble, we're going to yarn over, going to put our hook into that first chain, bring the yarn through, and then what we're going to do is a little chain 1. We're just going to pull through that first loop only, so yarn over, pull through that first loop. Now that creates effectively your chain. And then in a foundation stitch we create the chain and the first stitch at the same time. So we've done our chain, and now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 to do our half double crochet. And then what we do is we yarn over, and that little chain that you created on the left there, we're going to work into that now. So we're going to go under 2 little bits of yarn, bring the yarn through, try and keep it loose. And then do the same thing again. We do our little chain 1, so bring it for the first loop only, and then we do our half double crochet by pulling through all 3, and that's our second half double crochet foundation stitch. The next one, we find that chain, so not this first one we did, but this second one we did on the left hand side, yarn over and put your hook into there, making sure to go under 2 bits of yarn, bring the yarn through, keeping it loose, and do your next chain and then your half double crochet. Oops, pull through all 3. So that's our third one. Then we want to do a unit of 3. So in this case I did 45. So again we're going to yarn over and find our next chain on the side. Make sure we go under it properly. Bring the yarn through and create our next chain, and then our half double crochet. Okay, so I'm going to create 45 of these and then come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so just coming up to the last one, the 45th. So again, if you don't know which one, if you lose track of which bit to work into, you just have 3 loops before your chain that you work into. So that's your first loop, second, third, and that one can tend to look quite small sometimes. And then this 4th one over here, that's your chain that you want to work into. So I'm just going to do my last stitch, and we still create the chain, and then we do our half double crochet, pull through all 3, and there we go. I've got 45 half double crochet foundation stitches. If that's too hard, you can just chain instead, but chain 46, just 1 more than you need, and then work 1 half double crochet in your second stitch from hook and in each stitch along, but it will create a slightly less flexible edging, so hopefully you can give this foundation stitch a try. So once you've got your unit of 3, what we're going to do is we're going to just make sure our yarn's at the top there, and making sure not to twist your yarn so it's all nice and flat. Not like that, so holding on to it, and then we're going to bring up the beginning one that we did, and we're going to work into, so the way to do this is, these are the stitches, so if it looks like this, these are your foundation chains, and these are the stitches we want to work into. So keeping an eye on that, keeping your yarn at the top, we're going to make sure this is all straight and not getting twisted. And we're going to find our first stitch we want to work into, and this is the same side as this side, same side as your hook. Can't get my words out today. So we're just going to bring that over, and we're going to find the first half double crochet, if my camera wants to focus. Find the first half double crochet that we made, so ignoring the little chains down here, I'm going to find that first half double crochet there, and then we're just going to yarn over and bring our yarn through that half double crochet and through the loop on your hook, and you should have a loop joined at the beginning and the end with no twist in your project. Okay, so then what we want to do is we want to start creating the pattern. So it's working this way to begin with, And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work into our chains, obviously. So we're going to start off by chaining 3. So we're going to chain 3 to begin. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to chain 3. And we're going to do 2 double crochet in the chain below, so the one we just slip stitched into. So in UK terminology, that's going to be a treble. So we're going to yarn over and do 2 double crochet in this chain that we just slip stitched into. So let's do 2 double crochet in there. And then you want to chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to do a single crochet in the same chain. So a single crochet in UK terminology is a double crochet. It's a little single crochet in there. So you get this little group of stitches, like this little sort of fan shape. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches. So skip 2, 1 and 2. Then in the next one we do the same thing again. We're going to do 2 double crochet to begin, or 2 trebles in UK terminology. 2 double crochet, chain 2, and then a single crochet in the same chain. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. So we skip 2, 1, 2, and then in the next chain we do 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, all in the same chain. So just repeat that all the way around back to the beginning. Skip 2, then 2 double crochet, and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, just getting nearer to the end. Skip 2, do my last little fan shape, 2 double crochet, chain 2, and then a single crochet. And then you should have 2 stitches remaining. You want to skip those last 2 and then find your first double crochet that you did. So just after the chains, this first double crochet, and put your hook into there and just slip stitch into there. Okay, so it should hopefully look something like this. Now we're going to move on to row 3, and row 3 is the main pattern. This is the pattern that you'll repeat for the majority of your sock. And the first thing we want to do is we want to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn our work and work in the opposite direction. So just flip your work over so that the first 2 chain space is closest to you. So you don't want it behind you. You want that 2 chain space in front of you. We're going to do exactly the same pattern, but we're going to work it into the 2 chain space. So find that 2 chain space, and in there do 2 double crochet to begin, chain 2, and then a single crochet in that 2 chain space as well. Single crochet, and that's it. And then we find our next 2 chain space over here, and we do the same thing again. 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet in there, chain 2 and 1 single crochet, all in that 2 chain space. Then we find our next one, the next 2 chain space over here, and do the same thing again. Just repeat that all the way around back to the beginning. Okay, so just coming up to the very last 2 chain space, do the same thing, 2 double crochet, chain 2, and then 1 single crochet. And then what we want to do is we want to find our first double crochet that we made. So skip these chains and find that first double crochet and slip stitch into there. Did I get into that properly? There we go. So you can start seeing all the different colours appearing, which is really nice. And then that's all we do. We're going to repeat that for about 12 more rows, so basically up to the beginning of your heel. So just keep repeating that pattern until you get to the beginning of your heel, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what to do next. So all you need to do is chain 3, and remember to turn. You need to turn your work again so that those 2 chain space is in front of you. That's very important, otherwise you'll get a completely different pattern. And do the same thing again, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet in that 2 chain space, and repeat that all the way around in each 2 chain space, and just repeat that until you get to the beginning of your heel. So for this particular sock I did it for rows 4 to 15, and that's about, what's that, 12 rows of just repeating this pattern. So I should do that and then I shall come back. Okay, so just coming up to the end of row 15 for this particular sock, still doing the same pattern, and you may end up finishing on any direction depending on what size you're working to. It doesn't make any difference. So then I'm just going to find that first double crochet and slip stitch into there. There we go. Okay, so now with that should reach up to your heel area. So you may have made this shorter or longer depending on what size you're making. But I've done 15 rows in total now, and what we're going to do is create a space for the heel. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some more half double crochet foundation stitches, and I'm going to do 21 of those. Now alternatively you can just chain 21 normal chains if you want to, but I'm going to do the half double crochet foundation stitch. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2 and yarn over and do exactly the same as what we did at the very beginning. We're going to put our hook into that first chain, which unfortunately I've got a bit of a dark yarn now so you can't see it. It's going to go into that first chain I just did and bring the yarn through, and again we do what we did before. We create the little chain 1 to create that stitch and then we've got 3 loops left, and we're going to yarn over and do our half double crochet. Then our next half double crochet foundation stitch we work into that chain we created on the side. So exactly the same as what we did before. Okay, our second one. So I'm going to do 21 of those, and what that is half my stitch count. So let's do this next one. Fortunately it's landed on a dark bit of the yarn, but hopefully you can see. So what I've done is I have divided my pattern in half. So what I did, you may have more or less of these little fan shapes. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now you can't divide 15 directly in half, so what I did is I've picked the smaller amount of a 7, and these 21 stitches, if you divide that in by 3, will equal 7. So it'll be 7 of these little fans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm leaving the 8, which I'm going to work the normal pattern. We're going to be skipping 7 of these stitches, these fan stitches. So if you divide 7 by 3, or no, times it by 3, you get 21. So what you need to do, if you've got a different size that you're working to, is cut it in half. And hopefully if that's exactly half, that your stitch count is exactly half, then that's great. You can just do half and half. If you end up with an odd amount of these little fan stitches, so I've got 15, so you can't divide that by 2, choose the smaller number. So 7 and 8 equal 15. So I've taken the 7 and I'll be skipping 7, okay, and then we times that by 3, which gave me 21, and that's the stitch count of foundation stitches that we need to do. So hopefully that helps you if you're doing a different size to this. But if you're just following this for an average lady size, then just chain 21 half double crochet foundation stitches. So again, just working into that chain on the side. Don't forget to create your next chain, and then you've got your 3 loops. Pull through all 3, and then the next one work into the chain on the side, and unfortunately it's gone to a dark bit of yarn, which is not helpful. Create your next chain and pull through all 3. So it's exactly the same as what you did at the beginning. We're going to create 21 of these. So how many have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and and it's coming up to the 21st stitch and last one, and we still create our chain, and then we do our half double crochet. So I have worked 21 half double crochet stitches, which is half of my stitch count, half of my fans. So I've got 15 fans divided by 2. Doesn't work exactly, so I have to pick 7 and 8 one side. So I'm going to pick the smaller number 7, times that by 3 equals our stitch count of 21. So hopefully that makes sense. You can just follow this pattern though if you want to. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to skip those 7 fans. So skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to skip those 7 fans, and then in the next 2 chain space of the next fan, I'm going to yarn over, put our hook into there, and carry on with the pattern. So we do 2 double crochet. So that's 1, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet. We carry on with the same pattern, okay? So we find our next 2 chain space and do 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, and just repeat the same pattern that we've been doing so far all the way to the end, back to the beginning. Okay. Okay, so just heading back to the beginning, and you just want to make sure that when you skip those stitches that you don't twist your chains. You want to make sure they're nice fit, as if they would sit nicely on top, so you don't want any twisting, so do be careful of that. Okay, so almost back to the beginning, we've got our last little fan shape to do, so 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet. And then when you're back at the beginning, you're back to your chains here, you want to find the first stitch, and make sure I work into this correctly, that we're facing the right direction. So it's very easy to work into the wrong side, so make sure they're facing the right way up, and find your first half double crochet that you did. We're going to slip stitch into there. And if you're not quite sure which one's your first half double crochet, you can count back from here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 21. And that's the one we worked into. Okay, so once you've done that, this gap that you have created here is going to be where your heel is going to go. So what we want to do now is just carry on with the same pattern, slightly different at the beginning, so working into chains. So all we're going to do is we're going to chain 3 to begin, and don't forget to turn your work. So you need to always make sure, if you were working, when you got past skipping these fans, depending on what row you ended on, if you're adjusting this for different sizes, you always need to make sure that that first little fan you create is worked into the 2 chain space that's nearest to you. So if your 2 chain space is over here, then what you need to do is twist your work so it's facing the right direction. So what we're going to do now is twist our work. So we're working into those 2 chain spaces, and we're going to do our chains at the end. And we do the same thing again. So we're going to work into that 2 chain space with 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet. So we're going to carry on with our pattern up until our chains. So we can just work into 2 chain spaces at the moment. So I should do that, and then I shall come back. Okay, so just coming up to the last fan before these chains. To do our last fan. And this is a good point to check the sock fits okay, if it's for yourself, just to make sure that this does sit on your heel. So when you put it on, your heel will stick out here and it's nice and comfortable, so it's a good opportunity to test. So now we're up to our foundation chains, our half double crochet foundation stitches, and what we're going to do is we're going to find the first one here. Okay, so the first proper one, these are all like, they're the 2 double crochet. So you need to find your first proper half double crochet foundation stitch. And we're going to skip the first two. So skip one, skip two, then in the next one we're going to do our same pattern. So we do two double crochet, chain two, one single crochet. Okay, then we skip two, one, two, and then in the next one we do our same pattern, two double crochet, chain two, one single crochet. So this is why we divide it up into three. So it's very similar to the very first round. And we're going to repeat that all the way across our foundation stitches. So skip two, then do another fan. Then at the very end we should have 3 stitches left, skip one, skip two, and in that very last stitch we do one more fan, so it should be right at the edge. One single crochet. So what you want to end up with the same amount of fans that you skipped. So I skipped 7, so I should have made 7 along this foundation row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so you want to make the same amount that you skipped. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch in that first double crochet just like before. So find your first double crochet, knot the chains and slip stitch into there. And then we just go back to doing our pattern. So now we need to do the pattern. So this is the gap that we've left here, which we'll come back to later. And we're now going to work the same pattern backwards and forwards up to the toe areas. So just before your toes start, we're going to repeat the pattern. So for this pattern, it's rows 18 to 31. So how many rows is that? That's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So that's 14 rows. So we need to do 14 rows up to the toes. We always start the same way. We chain 3 and we turn. So we must remember to turn. And this time we've got normal fans to work into. Your 2 chain space should be right in front of you. And we're going to work the same pattern of 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet into that 2 chain space, and just repeat that all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to do that for 14 rows, or whatever rows 18 to 31 are, up to the toes. And then I shall come back. Okay, so it's just the same as what you were doing here. Okay, so I have repeated the pattern for 14 rows, I think it was, but it's basically just up to the toes. So once you get up to here, it should look something like this. You should have this hole that you've got left here. This is where your heel's going to go, and you should have crocheted the pattern up to where the toes are going to be. So your toes would be about here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do some decreases to bring in the toe area. So we have this bit here. So if I get this to be the same shape, put this flat. Okay, now going to work on this bit here that brings in the edge. Okay, so to do that, we're going to chain 3 to begin. Let's chain 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to turn our work as normal. Okay, work in the opposite direction. And what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet 4 stitches together, but it's basically double crocheting 2 fans together. So I'll show you what I mean. We're going to put our hook into that first 2 chain space, bring the yarn through, then we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, we're going to stop there, yarn over and go into the same 2 chain space, then yarn over, pull through 2, stop there, then we're going to yarn over and go into the next 2 chain space, pull through 2, stop there, yarn over and go back into the same 2 chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, and you end up with 5 loops, and we're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. And that double crochets 2 fans together, but it's worked over sort of like 4 stitches, if that makes sense. So So then what we're going to do is we are going to chain 2 and 2, and we're going to do 1 single crochet in that last 2 chain space worked. So go back into there and do your 1 single crochet, and that just keeps a little 2 chain space fan shape in your decrease. Okay, then we're going to work the pattern as normal over to the opposite side. So for me that's just working into 5 fans. So then we're going to find the next 2 chain space and just work the pattern as normal. So 2 double crochet, got to focus on the right thing, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, and that's my first one. So do it another 4 more times, two double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, then 3 more times, two more times, and then once more, that just takes me to the opposite side of the sock. So it's about halfway. Okay, or just before halfway. So if you're working to a different stitch count, just work the pattern to just before halfway. Then we're going to do another decrease. So what we're going to do is do the same thing again. We're going to go into the 2 chain space, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and go into there again, pull through 2, then yarn over, go into the next 2 chain space, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the same 2 chain space, pull through 2, you've got 5 loops, pull through all 5 loops, and that's done a decrease, 4 stitches over 2 fans, and then we finish up with the chain 2, 1 single crochet in that last 2 chain space worked. Then we're just going to do the pattern all the way up to the ends. That's going to be over 6 or 7 fans left, and just finish up the pattern to the end. So again, we'll just go in to the next 2 chain space and do 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet. Just repeat that to the end. So pattern as normal. And then when you're back at the beginning, we find this is our first decrease that we did, and just past the chains will be your first double crochet. So just in there, you want to slip stitch into there to join the round. Okay, so you've got a couple of decreases and you can see it just coming in very slightly either side. Now we want to just work a normal pattern row, so we're going to chain 3. Don't forget to turn your work and work in the opposite direction and just work around the normal pattern. Okay, so just 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet in each 2 chain space around. Just a normal pattern round, okay? Okay, when back at the beginning, just slip stitch as normal in that first double crochet. Then we're going to move on to the next round, which is another decrease. So chain 3 and turn your work. So always turning your work. We're going to do another decrease at the beginning. So we're going to go into that first 2 chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over again and back into the same 2 chain space, pull through 2, then yarn over, find the next 2 chain space, pull through 2, yarn over, do that one more time, pull through 2, 5 loops, pull through all 5, and then chain 2, 1 single crochet in that last 2 chain space work, so we get that 2 chain space. Then we're going to work the pattern over 4 fans, so just 4 fans, just to the other side. So if you've adapted the stitch count, you may have to work, this might be slightly different, to work out what you need to do. It's just to get to just work the decrease the opposite side, you should be okay. For me, this is about 4 stitches, 4 of these fans rather. Two, third one, and one more. Okay, when you reach the opposite side, it should have reached, if you look for the row before last, you should see your previous decrease. So when you get to about there, we're going to do another decrease. So again, yarn over, it's the 2 chain space, pull through 2, yarn over into the same one, pull through 2, then yarn over into the next one, pull through 2, yarn over into the same 2 chain space, pull through 2, 5 loops, pull through all 5, chain 2, 1 single crochet in that last 2 chain space worked. That's your next decrease, and then we just work the pattern to the end. So it's going to be worked over, should be 5 fans for me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just work the pattern as normal back to the beginning. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to find this first decrease at the beginning, and just next to that little row of chains, you should be your first double crochet, slip stitch into there. Then our next row, we're going next round, chain 3 and turn, and we're just going to do a pattern round. So just work the normal pattern of 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet in each 2 chain space around. So just do a round of the pattern. If you have slightly bigger toes, and then you may want to just do on these pattern rounds between the decreases, you may just want to do maybe 2 pattern rounds before the decrease. You'll have to experiment, see how you go. Okay, so it should look something like this. You start seeing it come in either side. Now we're just going to finish up with 3 decrease rounds. So what we're going to do now is chain 3 and turn. Always remember to turn, and we're going to do a decrease to begin. Pull through 2, go into the same 2 chain space, pull through 2, yarn over and into the next one, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through all 5 loops, and don't forget to chain 2, 1 single crochet, so you can work into it on the way back. Then we're going to do the pattern over 3, so basically just to the other side. It's about 3 fans, so keeps focusing on the back of the sock. One, two, and 3. Then we are going to work a decrease again, and it should be above your previous decrease from the previous row. So that was a normal pattern round, so look for the decrease on the row before that. So once you get there, we're going to do another decrease. Doesn't have to be exact, just near enough to being the opposite side. Okay, and don't forget our 2 chain 1 single crochet, and then pattern to the end. So that's going to be over, I think it's about 4 fans on this one, so just bend the pattern to the end. Okay, and when you get to the end, slip stitch in that decrease. Then we're going to go straight into another decrease round, so we're going to chain 3. Don't forget to turn. I'm going to do a decrease straight away over 2 fans. Don't forget the chain 2, 1 single crochet. Then we're going to work the pattern over 2 fans, so just to the other side. Okay, then we do another decrease, so you can see it's just above this previous decrease on the last row here, and a little bit harder to find these 2 chain spaces on a decrease, but they are there if you remember to put them in. So work a decrease over that decrease and a normal fan. There's no pattern rounds now, we're just doing decrease rounds for these last 3 rounds. Okay, so you're going to decrease and then pattern over the last 3 fans. Just pattern back to the beginning then. And then slip stitch in that first decrease. Okay, so 1 more decrease round. This should be really small now. 1 more decrease, we're going to chain 3 and turn, do a decrease straight away, don't forget the chain 2, 1 single crochet. Then we do the pattern over just 1 fan in between. And another decrease. Then pattern back to the beginning, so just after the last 2 fans for this one. There we go, and then just getting fiddly now, just slip stitch in that first decrease to finish. Okay, I'm going to bring up a loop and hopefully it looks something like that. So you should have a tiny hole now, and all your decreases should be either side. So if your sock is flat like this with the hole at the back, you turn it over The decreases should be either side of where the heel hole is. So there's your heel hole, and your decreases should be there. What we're going to do now is we're going to cut the yarn, and we're just going to sew this remaining hole closed. So you just flatten it down, and we're going to sew across there. Okay, let's get my scissors, do a little bit of a sewing. Just pull that loop through, so just grab that loop and then just pull that through, it won't come undone. Then get our yarn needle, and we're just going to sew it closed. The way I like to sew it closed is so making sure it's flat. So to make sure the yarn's at the end first. So that here, so I'm just sewing to the corner edge. I'm going to go from one stitch over to the other side, and then I'm going to go over this side and then back to this side. So you don't really have stitches as such to work in, so just make it as neat as you can. And then I'm going to go over this side, back to this side. So it's like a ladder stitch, over, that's the other side, over, then to the other side, so on and so forth. Okay. So there we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hide our tail end, and then we're going to work on the heel part, and then our sock is finished. Okay, so now we're going to work on the heel parts. What you want to do is flatten your work down so you've got this hole going from one side to the other, and you can pick either side to begin, so either this side or this side. So I'm just going to pick the fan side first, and what we're going to do is we're going to rejoin our yarn just in the corner. So just pick a little bit of a corner there where this little mouth part opens. We're going to rejoin our yarn in that corner and just secure it with a little chain one nice and tight. We're going to work the pattern, so we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to work a decrease over these first 2 fans. Okay, so find 2 chain space and do a decrease, pull through 2 twice, then find this next one. Oh, it's very windy. Okay, so exactly the same decreases as we did for the toe area. Pull through all 5. Don't forget you chain 2, 1 single crochet in that last 2 chain space. Then we're going to work the pattern over 3 fans, so just over up to the last 2 basically, because you might have more stitches. But we're going to work the pattern up to the last 2 fans, so in this case over 3 fans. That's 1. This turquoise colour, lovely. 2. Then 3. Okay, so then we're up to the last 2 fans. Okay, these 2, and we're going to do a decrease over those 2. So pull through 2, yarn over, back into the same space. Pull through 2, then yarn over into the last 2 chain space. Pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through all 5, and don't forget your chain 2, 1 single crochet. Okay, then you should be at the other end. What we're going to do is we're going to just slip stitch anywhere on this corner. So just pick a gap and just slip stitch just to join that and reduce any holes. Okay, so now we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fans. And we're just going to do the pattern as normal over those 5 fans. So we're going to chain 3 and turn and just work the pattern all the way across. Okay, find that first 2 chain space. Always harder to find in the decreases. Okay, so just work the pattern as normal over those 5 fans, or however many you have. Okay, so just work the pattern as normal. Then we're going to do a decrease, and we're going to chain 3 to begin, so we don't slip stitch in the corner now. We just chain 3, turn. I'm going to do a decrease straight away over the first 2 fans. Okay, then we work the pattern up to the last 2, so in this case I'm just doing it in this one in the middle. Just the normal pattern, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet. Then we do the decrease over the last 2. Forget the chain 2, 1 single crochet. Okay, so now we're down to 3 little fan shapes, and we're just going to do the normal pattern for the next row. So we're going to chain 3, work just the normal pattern over those 3. Let's have 2 chain space. Okay, so we've just worked the pattern as normal over those 3. So you've got those 3 there. Then we're just going to do a decrease over 3. Okay, so it's very similar to what we're doing a normal decrease. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3 and turn, and we're going to decrease over these 3. So we're going to go into the first fan first, pull through 2, yarn over into there again, pull through 2, then yarn over, go into the next one, next 2 chain space, and pull through 2. Yarn over again into there again, pull through 2, but then we're going to go into the last one as well. So we're going to yarn over, go into the last fan, pull through 2, yarn over into there again, pull through 2. You should have 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yarn over, pull through all 7 loops, finish up with a chain 2, 1 single crochet in that last 2 chain space. Okay, and there we finish. That is 1/2 of our heel. I always get my soles and my heels mixed up. And we can leave a little short tail there. Just pull that through. Then we're going to repeat that for the other side. So we're going to turn it over and do the exact same thing on this side. But this side we've got chains. We've either got foundation chains or normal chains. And you should have a division of 3. So in this case I think it was like 21 or something. The first thing we're going to do though is just find the corner. So you can start. I want to find out where your first chain is first. So let's count off where our first one is and go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm just going to put my hook into the corner beyond there, make a note of where my first chain is. Grab the yarn, bring that through and secure with a little chain 1. Do exactly the same thing. We're going to chain 3 to begin. Do a decrease first. Okay, but what we want to do is work out where that first chain is, so there, and we're going to go into there first. So go into that first stitch, oops, and pull through 2, yarn over into there again, pull through 2. Then we're going to stop, yarn over, skip 2, 1, 2, and go into the next one. So this will be as if it was like our next fan. Remember, each fan is divided up into 3. Pull through 2, yarn over into that stitch again, pull through 2. Got 5 loops, yarn over, pull through all 5. And don't forget to chain 2, 1 single crochet in that same stitch. Okay. Then we're going to work the pattern over what would be 3 fans, so 3 lots of 3. And we're going to do those and skip 2, 1, 2, and in the next stitch just work the pattern as normal, so 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet. So that's our first one done. Okay, and then we're going to skip 2, find the next stitch, do the pattern of 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet. Okay, so second one, then skip 2, 1, 2 into the next stitch, do the pattern again, so 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet. And what you should have left now is 2 lots of 3 left. So as if you'd have, remember each fan is worth 3 stitches, and we want to work this up to the last 2 fans, so that's going to be 6 stitches. And when you've got 6 stitches, you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus the last 2 from the beginning, if that makes sense. We're going to do a decrease. So we've worked the 3 in the middle, do a decrease, so we're going to skip 2, go into the next stitch, pull through 2, back into there again, pull through 2, yarn over, skip 2, and then into the next chain, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 2, 1 single crochet. Okay, and you should have 2 chains left, which would be the 2 that we didn't do at the beginning, so we started on a fan straight away, you see. Hopefully that makes sense, all divided by 3. However many stitches you've got left, hopefully it's 2. We're going to then just find the corner and just slip stitch into that corner. Okay, so you should have the same amount of fans as you did for the other side at the beginning, which is 5, or however many you have. Then we're going to chain 3 and turn, and then we're going to work a normal pattern row over those 5. Okay, it's just a normal pattern row, and then just repeat the steps that we did for the other side basically. Okay, so you've got the 5 there. Then we're going to chain 3 and turn. And this time we're going to start off with a decrease, but it should be easy because you've got normal fans to work with. So go into that first one, pull through 2, back into there again, pull through 2, to the next fan, 2 chain space, pull through 2, again, then pull through all loops, chain 2, 1 single crochet. Then work the pattern up to the last 2. In this case it's just over the middle one. So 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, and over the last 2 we're going to decrease over these 2. Oops, I can't do that properly. Okay, so you got down to 3 now. We're going to chain 3 and just work a normal pattern row first over those 3. So no decreases. Okay, got 3 left. Then we're going to decrease over those 3. So we chain 3, turn, and finish up by 1 big decrease over those 3. So we're going to the first one, pull through 2, yarn over back into there again, pull through 2, yarn over into the next one, pull through 2, yarn over into there again, pull through 2, then yarn over into the last one, pull through 2, yarn over into there again, pull through 2, pull through all 7 loops this time, finish up with a chain 2, 1 single crochet. And that's it. All we need to do now is cut our yarn, leave a little bit for sewing, just pull that through, and then matching up your 2 sides of the heel, we're going to sew from up there all the way over to the other side. So I'm going to do that, just sew those 2 together, and then that'll be your heel sorted. So I'll do that and come back and show you. And there we go, I've just sewn from one side to the other, and you should now have like this little flap which works out to be your heel. So if we flatten it sideways, you will see the sock coming into shape. There we go, there is the heel of your sock, and all that's left to do now is to try it on, repeat all those steps and make obviously a second sock, and then try them on. So let's try them on, shall we, and see if they fit. There we go, tried them on and they fit really snugly. This is really hard to film, so there we go. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, hope you managed to follow along, and I hope you enjoy your kids, and I'll see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching, bye!